This is what's called a set-top box. Basically, it's a computer in a box that normally sits on top of your TV set. What it does is turn your television into a powerful digital terminal that lets you do things like download video on demand, play computer games, browse, or even shop using an electronic video catalog, all in the comfort of your home. This box is made by Scientific Atlanta using silicon graphics technology, and it's the box being used by Time Warner right now in their interactive TV experiment in Orlando, Florida. Today, we'll take a look at the many aspects of computers and video on this edition of the Computer Chronicles. Hi, and welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet, and with me today is Lou Wallace, Editor-in-Chief of Digital Video Magazine. Lou, we're talking about PC video, and you've got two examples here of what I guess we're trying to accomplish with PCs and video. One is to get real video onto a PC, and you have an example of a Hollywood movie that runs off your CD-ROM drive.
Yeah, I do. Everyone's been talking about the convergence of television and PCs for a while. Well, the time for talk is over. It's here now. For example, this is the Firm movie, which Tom Cruise's film. Here you can see it's running full 320, 240, 30 frames per second in a window. Clicking on a button, we can bring up the full screen without any loss of resolution. And the reason for that is we're using an MPEG decoder card from Signum Designs, one of several dozen MPEG cards that are now available for PCs.
So the key is really the MPEG hardware.
That's right.
That lets us really play movies. Now the question I have is, kind of what's the point? I mean, why should I want to watch this movie on my PC instead of on my TV?
Well, I think productivity is low enough now, so we really don't want to watch movies on a PC at the office. But for mission-critical applications such as video conferencing and video networking, these will work out just fine. I mean, MPEG is very important there. For entertainment such as games, MPEG enhances the gameplay. And for things like music videos such as the one we're showing here, you can buy a couple of music videos for $5 on a CD. It's the age of the 45 all over again.
Well, all right, let's turn to this guy over here on the Macintosh, and this really goes beyond just getting VCR quality video on a PC. This is better. This gets us into that sort of non-linear interactive capability that the computer gets us.
That's right. This is Apple's new QuickTime VR, and it's interactive video. So instead of just watching a static display, we can now interact with the environment. Now, they use panoramic 360-degree photography to generate these special QuickTime VR files. You can look around, you can look up, you can look down, and more importantly, you can interact with components of the environments. For example, if I was interested in this, I could just click on it and that would bring up a panel that would tell me more about that.
So this is the bridge of the Enterprise from the new Star Trek, right?
That's right. This is the bridge of the Enterprise.
And so it's not a movie. I mean, you're going where you want to go.
That's correct. And this could also be used for interactive shopping or exploring museums or other new buildings that haven't even been built yet. An architect could design, use QuickTime VR with an animation program to allow his client to interact and explore it.
It's here.
Yep.
Okay. Now, one use of a PC-based video system is to turn your computer into a kind of video phone that lets you and others meet at the same time in the same video and audio space. The latest entrant in that field is Apple with its new QuickTime conferencing technology.
The University of California at Davis sits on a vast campus that includes a veterinary school and a school of agriculture. To help bring distant buildings and people closer together, the university is testing a new video-based system for Macintoshes called QuickTime Conferencing. The tests are still in an early phase, but there are plenty of potential applications.
We're looking at something called Remote TA, which is a conglomeration of different technologies. But the general idea is that people have to go to teaching assistant office hours to ask questions. And because we are a geographically diverse campus, sometimes it's difficult to make those office hours. But if, however, a teaching assistant had this kind of a video conferencing technology, we could set up various locations around the campus where students could drop in and connect to a teaching assistant's office hours, essentially.
Currently, the system connects only 2 offices, but its combination of real-time graphic information exchange and video has proven itself. The video component can shrink an unwieldy meeting into the neat frame of a desktop screen.
We are a very geographically diverse organization with over 250 people. We do hold meetings and frequently these meetings become very larger than some of our largest conference rooms. So it would be good to be able to hold what I would consider virtual meetings by means of this QuickTime conferencing technology.
UC Davis chose QuickTime because it is modular and conforms to open standards. The school is planning a new asynchronous mode multimedia network which will improve the video quality, but that is not currently a major concern for the beta testers.
I think currently today, for instance, it is a bit of an obstacle, depending on your use of the QuickTime conferencing. For instance, if you were helping somebody perform a medical operation remotely, it would probably be an obstacle because you can't see exactly everything that's occurring. But just for face-to-face video, it's fine.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Giles Bateman.
Now, one simple use of a computer to create video is to use your PC as a video controller so you can edit together existing analog video from your tapes. Here to show us how to do that is Alan Tiggison of Gold Disc. Welcome, Alan.
Thank you, sir.
All right, first thing you have to do is set up your hardware, and how do you do that using Video Director?
Well, the whole point of Video Director is you just want to use the hardware you already have. So your computer, your camcorder, and your VCR. To that end, we've created a special cable.
So this cable comes with the software.
That's right. And one end hooks up to your serial port on your PC, and you have a choice of connectors there. And this part controls your VCR, just like any universal remote.
So it's an infrared that you'd point at your record VCR.
That's exactly right, and we have a whole list of them that you can select from. And this hooks up to your camcorder.
Okay.
You hook that up, you install the software, you're ready to edit.
So we have a setup over here. Here's my camcorder with the original material on it.
Right.
Here's my VCR I'm going to record onto. Here's your PC. How do I start the process?
Okay. Well, to make it easier for people to get into editing, we've broken it down into 3 simple steps. The first step is to log your clips. What that means is that you go through the tape on your camcorder and you decide which clips you want. Let's see how to do that. See, I can control my camcorder here from this little window called Source Deck.
Okay.
And I'll play, and you see we have some footage here of some snowboarders. I'll click Start to mark the start of the clip. I'll click End to mark the end of the clip, and I can now name it. We'll call it just Snow.
So you've marked the in and out points of that one clip you like, and then you can describe it.
Right.
Describe that clip.
There you go. And now it shows up on my list of clips in my library. Now, instead of going through the tape right now, I'll just show you my entire library because I have many tapes.
So they're all the clips you've previously logged.
That's right, and I have many tapes. The one we're looking at right now is My Vacation.
All right, so how do I make my movie?
We go to the next step. Now we go to Edit. In editing, you select which clips you want from the list. I've dragged down a few. Let's see how we do that. Let's see, drag snowboarding. I can put that right here. I can change the order in which the clips appear.
So and you just drag and drop the clips.
Just drag and drop in clips. We still haven't done anything on making the tape, which is the third
I've
step.
said these are the clips I want and the order I want them in and the ins and outs of each section.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's click on Make Tape. The way Make Tape works, that's really the heart of Video Director, because you, the user, let the computer do all the hard work. So if I click on Go here, then we will be rewinding the source deck, the camcorder, to the first clip. Start playing. We'll put the VCR and record pause, and when we get the beginning of the first clip, we unpause the VCR, it starts recording. At the end of the clip, we pause it again, we go to the next clip.
And do you have to do each one of these steps, or can you do like 10 clips in a row?
You can do 50 clips, 100 clips in a row.
And the computer will just take over and lay down all the sequences.
The only exception being if you're copying clips from more than one tape.
Right.
And then Video Director will remind you to change the tape.
Okay, what else can you do?
Well, I have various options for effects. Now, the most common effect people are probably going to do is a voiceover. If you have a sound card and microphone, you can lay down your voiceover, say, here's baby, here's the wedding. Another type of effect is a title. And I have a title right here. You need extra hardware again to do a title. It's about $150. I prepared a little title for this segment, and we call that, and it's coming up here, and here's Computer Chronicles.
Okay, so you can create the titles in the software and actually use them and mix them. You need some other hardware.
Exactly.
All right, now how good are the edits that come off of this thing?
They're really excellent.
Can we see what an edit looks like and how clean it is?
We can do that. It's absolutely exceptional even on a $200 VCR.
All right, so that's going to come up on our VCR over here?
We'll play.
And so this is one you just made.
I just made that.
Oh,
as you can see.
Okay.
I mean, we are.
That's a real edit.
We're rocking and rolling.
All right, how much does Video Director cost?
It's $99 in most stores.
Okay, thanks very much.
Sure.
Okay, now, if you are into video, you have heard the name Avid for video editing, but it used to be a kind of expensive alternative. Now you can do real digital editing using Avid's new Video Shop for just a few $100s. Here to show us how to use it is Ravi Myra from Avid. How you doing, Ravi?
Doing well, Stuart.
All right, over here we were using videotape analog stuff.
Right.
You're going to show me how to do the same thing, real digital video.
Digital video, meaning we're
Okay.
capturing the video onto the computer and manipulating it the same way we do text in a word processor.
And doing real nonlinear editing right off the hard drive.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do we do it?
Well, what we do is we hook up our camera or our VCR or camcorder to our AV card. We've got a standard AV Mac right there, right out of the box. And I was hoping you'd be the star of my movie.
All right.
I'm going to press record, and when I do, I'm going to count to 3. I want you to wave your arms and say video shop at
I'm
the
going to
camera.
do a commercial for you, huh?
That's right. Here we
Okay.
go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Video shop.
Great. And now what I'm going to do, Video Shop's going to build a mycon of that. And what that is, it's a movie icon.
Right.
So when we see that in our folder, it's very easy to find which clip it was because we get a 3 to 5 second preview of the movie.
So that's the clip you just shot.
Right, and
playing
now
off
we
the
can even
hard
give it
drive.
a name too. Playing off of the hard drive,
Yeah.
exactly. And now let's open up a new sequencer, which is where we edit in Video Shop, and we'll actually make a movie with that clip. So let's start by dropping in the clip we just shot. This is the sequencer down the bottom. Up here is our canvas window, and this is where we get an instant real-time preview. 1, 2, see, so I can see what we're doing as we do it, and that's something that no other QuickTime editor has. And now let's bring in another clip. This is one I shot back home in Boston. And
So you're assembling the movie just by dragging
Just by
and dropping
dragging and
these
dropping.
digital clips.
exactly.
And you can change the order, which is the beauty of this.
The beauty of
thing, huh?
nonlinear, if I decide I want studio first, which I do, I pick it up and put it down. That's not something you
Right,
can do on
right.
videotape. And now if we want to do some even further precise editing, let's do a trim here. We'll just slide along. You can look up in the canvas window up in the upper left. We'll get right to the frame I wanted to start right before you start to talk.
So you're really able to do
Let
frame
go.
by frame editing here.
That's right. And we can even do transition effects rather than just go straight cuts. If we want to do a nice dissolve or a fade, or let's do one that's even more exciting like a page peel, we can affect the length of the duration.
So you got all those effects you can pull from your effects library.
That's
there.
right, over 200 actually. And we can build the effect, we can customize most of the effects. And we also have plenty of other special effects for things like chroma key, the blue screen weatherman effect.
Yeah.
You can do things like that in Video Shop.
Now at
as
the
well.
bottom, we're also actually seeing a representation of the audio track, so you really know where the audio is in addition to the video.
Right, and we have unlimited layers of audio, so if you want to add in a music track, you know, and a sound effects track as well, you can do that.
Okay.
And if we wanted to add another clip while we're still in this view, we don't have to switch back. We can just, let's bring in this one that's called the end and put it at the end.
Okay, so you've laid down 3 different sequences here.
And then the last step is to just save as a movie. And the reason we want to save this as a movie is so we can maybe send this down the internet to a friend or drop it into another application like a multimedia application, Direct, or maybe you're doing a CD-ROM piece, or print to videotape if you've got an AV Mac and you want to make videos at home.
So it's putting it all together now?
Let's put it all together, and now let's take a look at what we just did. We just go down to print to video, and we say go ahead.
And now let's hear from our studio audience.
Video shop.
Great. And there you go, in about 3 minutes we've just made a movie.
2 quick questions here. First
Sure.
of all, we're seeing it on the little screen.
Uh-huh.
To do full screen, I take it you need some hardware.
Well, yes and no. If you wanted to just print out a tape with your AV Mac, there's a software enlarge feature. If you want professional quality looking, yes, there are plenty of other QuickTime capture cards that can handle the full screen look and not lose resolution and
Yeah.
still use Video Shop as your editing
Last
software.
question quickly. I mean, that was a 3-second video clip. How much storage did it take up and how long a clip can I create?
Well, actually, I can tell you exactly how much storage it took. That movie took 4.4 megs.
Yeah.
And I can actually save that as a Cinepack compressed movie and decrease that by about 2/3.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, if you've seen movies like Stargate or The Mask or Forrest Gump, you've seen special video effects that were created on very expensive computing platforms. But the new movie, Virtuosity from Paramount, will be full of special digital video effects, all created on desktop computers. The work's being done by CyberLab 7 here in San Francisco.
Walk through the doors of CyberLab 7 in San Francisco and enter the world of virtual worlds, a center for the imagination and digital creation of new immersive experiences. The lab's goal is to create the next level of three-dimensional communication, ultimately destined for the global internet.
The fundamental change that's taking place in media is the change from linear media to interactive media. And it's online interactive. So Basically, the internet with interactive virtual worlds or interactive media is the new media, and it's going to obsolete television and film and most other media that we know. It will be the most exciting media. These medias won't go away, they just won't be where the really intense creativity is. So the good news is we can build these new interactive worlds using desktop machines.
Creating accessible 3D cyberspace according to CyberLab will require a dependable network and inexpensive computing hardware. One half of that formula, the hardware, is already here. The lab recently won a contract with Paramount Pictures to create the digital effects for a new film called Virtuosity.
The exciting thing about the making of this film is it's the first major feature film in history to use computers that you can literally go down to your local computer store and buy. We're using Pentiums, which are being sold in the newspaper every day, and we're using 3D Studio, which is a wonderful program from Autodesk, and we use a lot of other tricks, and we put that all together and we can make cyberspace. We're actually building cyberspace with desktop machines. Now, these machines are advanced machines. They have 128 megabytes of RAM, and they're all networked together using Microsoft NT, but nonetheless, they are desktop machines that an average person can buy.
CyberLab has combined networked animation with video editing to create a complete virtual world production line. The wireframe models are filled, textured, and animated using familiar PC-based software and then sent to the video department for transfer to tape. To CyberLab's founder, the merging of virtual worlds with the motion picture world is a transitional phase, while waiting for the full potential of interactive media.
The best way to distribute the virtual worlds at the moment is on the back of a feature film or on the back of a music video or something like that. But obviously that's an archaic way of doing it. These are full interactive immersion environments that you could go into. So why put them up on a wall and sit in a chair and watch them when you could actually go into them and meet with other people and do all kinds of things? So obviously this is an intermediate zone. Paramount needs these images for their films to make them work. It's great for us. We get to build high-end virtual worlds, but really we're aimed at interactive virtual reality.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Giles Bateman.
Ideally, you want your PC editing system to be able to mix video sources and other graphics and audio sources. You can do that with the new Video Machine Lite from the Fast Electronic Company. Brad Giotis is here to help us figure out how to use this. How you doing, Brad?
Doing great, thanks.
Okay, this is your board, right? This is the Fast Machine Lite.
Correct. That is a complete video production studio on a card that goes in a PC.
And you have it sitting inside this compact over here.
Correct.
And what's the rest of the hardware we have here?
Well, the rest of the stuff we have, of course, is our monitor. Then on top here we have a camcorder that we use that we can control. Beneath that is an NTSC or just a normal television monitor. And beneath that is our breakout box, which we call the studio control box, which is where you plug all the cables in.
All your ins and your outs.
And underneath that is a professional video editing deck that we have because we can also control those, and just to help show the difference of the variety of decks we do support.
Okay, so we are right now talking analog editing off tape using your board to control it and to add the effects and so on, right?
Exactly.
All right, show us how you use it.
Okay, we've divided the software up into two halves. The top half is our timeline where we actually set the sequence of events that we want to happen. And then beneath that is our project manager, where we hold all the various clips of video, graphics, animation, audio, titles, everything that we may need to use to incorporate into our production. So once we've got everything connected and installed, we set up and create a window for every tape that we have. And by double-clicking in this window here, I get up my clip editor, which is where I have control of my various tape decks. So you can see here as I punch play, I can actually shuttle
So
through.
you're running that tape deck sitting over there.
Exactly. And I'm actually able to control it from the computer. And I can mark an in and an out point. And this actually defines the sequence of video that I may want to use for my tape. Once I've done that, you see that we bring the picture icon in.
Right, so what's nice about this, you're not only marking the in and out time code, but actually a still frame from each of those points so you can really know what that clip represents.
Exactly, exactly. This gives us something so we can see on the timeline.
Okay.
Now I can name it, I can adjust the color values and the levels and things like that. And when I'm happy with it, I just tell the video machine that I want to use it. And you see that it brings the picture icon down there able for me to use. Now I would go through and catalog all of my footage this way. I'd make a new one and continue on and catalog everything. And once I'm finished, I'd exit back out and then have a project group here that looks something like this with various clips from various
So these are all the
tapes.
clips you'd picked before.
Right. And I just drag them up on the timeline to start creating my video. I put them up in the order I'd like it to have it, and I just stagger them. You see that they lock into place. And then it's a matter of adding effects. Now, all my icons down here on the bottom of the screen represent groups of video or audio or transitions or anything that I may have, including graphics and logos as well. And so I just double-click on one of these, and it opens up my window, which gives me effects I can use. If I want to start out with a tumble in, for example, from the top left, I just drag that effect up onto the screen. And I can make it a short or a long tumble by adjusting the level here. And I can maybe slide in from the top here, and then go to just a nice dissolve here on the bottom to have it finish out my video. Now we can show you some stuff here at the beginning of things we've created that will actually show you all kinds of features of Video Machine Lite, including animation and alpha channel animation and alpha channel graphics.
Okay, so you'll play back a sequence now you edited using Machine Lite.
Right, and you'll see here, down here is our audio. We didn't cover audio, but we're going to show it.
So several audio channels, your 2 video sources, your effects.
Right.
And so there's the video running off the NTSC monitor.
Exactly.
And there's the timeline showing us what events occurring at what particular time.
Exactly. Here's some slow motion that we can do as well.
Okay, just want to make clear what you were just creating really was using something like the Video Machine Lite, which sells for how much?
It sells for $2,500.
Okay, but we're actually playing back using this digital player recorder card, right?
Right, and that's a $69.95 option that goes into it that gives Video Machine Lite 2 more tape decks, basically, but they're coming off disk. So it gives us random access and instant access to all of our clips.
Great, thanks a lot, Brad.
Thank you.
Okay, now the real thing is professional, non-linear digital editing. Up until now, that's been a very expensive and complex option, but Radius has just come out with a new desktop video editing solution that may be the answer. Here to show it to us is Greg Millar of Radius. How you doing, Greg?
Hi, Stewart.
All right, first of all, we have the first Radius Macintosh compatible here, huh?
That's right. That's our new compatible computer, 100% compatible with Macintosh software and hardware. It's PowerPC based.
Okay, great. Okay, what else do we have here? What's this?
Well, this one's configured for video editing, like you mentioned. This is the Studio Array. It's 4 gigabytes for digital storage of video. An NTSC monitor so we can see our video, finished video.
Over here?
That's our breakout strip for in and out of audio and video in and out of the system. And a graphics display here for control.
All right, so what we have here now is basically a Mac-based desktop complete digital video editing system, which is also open.
It's open. It's
so
all
that you can use other modules, you can use other tools, etc.
Exactly.
All right, show us how you would use this. This is Radius Edit, is the software you're
That's right.
show
That's
us.
Radius' software for doing professional editing. We're putting together a ski clip here, and I'm going to just drag these 5 pieces into my timeline. So for a cuts-only movie, that's all I've got to do. Drag them in. We can take a look at what this piece looks like.
So again, you just dragged and dropped those particular clips and cut.
We have cuts.
But you can do a lot more than that, obviously.
Sure. Most people like to put some transitions in. Here's an iris that we can interact with. You can see on the program monitor what that's going to look like. That's a preview of it, a rough preview. To see what the real thing looks like, let's look over here what an iris really might look like. The soft edge.
So what's cool here with this complete digital control, you're not only picking a transition, you can actually see exactly what it'll look like with the timing, with the 2 sequences, etc.
That's right, on a video monitor, so you can get your colors right and everything else. Here's something else, a dissolve, for example. I think the one we're going to go with for our piece today is this fade into blue and back out to the next piece. So we can lay that transition right on top of the clip. As well, I think what we want to do today is put a title in. And we can just put the title in an effects track. We can have as many effects tracks as we like. That's unlimited. And let's just see what that title looks like. Again, up here on the program monitor. And we can scrub through this and you can see it. We're going to get a little spin on it, some drop shadow. And let's just show you what some other titles might look like. Here's one.
And again, you're creating the title and adding the effects inside Radius Edit.
Exactly. Radius Edit has titling built right into it. Not just built into it, but it's built in so it's really seamless. You can do the titling right on top of the video.
Okay, so can you create a finished digital little movie and play it back for us?
Exactly. So here's our piece, and we have our title. We have our transitions, and we put in a little soundtrack on top of that. And we'll play back full screen.
Okay. And this was done in real time, and you didn't play back something that was done earlier. I mean, this is the movie you created right now using the system. So, I mean, this is basically it. You've got all your controls. It's all digital. I can look at my source, my program, my effects, the whole bit.
That's right.
How much is this all going to cost me?
This is about $20,000 for the configuration you see here.
And I'm in business.
That's right.
All right, thanks a lot. That's our look at PC video. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you here next time on the Computer Chronicles.